AT&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, the home of the Panthers. And tonight's Dobbs starting goaltenders, Brian Elliott, stopped 26 of 29 in the Blues' 6-3 victory the other night. Has the fourth best goals against in the NHL against the veteran Roberto Luongo, former first rounder of the Islanders, picked up in a trade from Vancouver. And for the Panthers, they begin with Dave Bolland at center ice between Thomas Fleischmann and Scotty Upshall. And for the Blues, the captain, David Backes. His line on fire, of course, featuring Backes, Steen, and Oshie. Ready for hockey here in Florida. The Blues were very happy with their game Thursday, a day off Friday, practice yesterday, and back at it for this late afternoon tilt in Sunrise. And Blues hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And the Blues right off the faceoff. Oshie falls down, gets it in though, and then Steen ahead. And that's a heavy one on Gudbranson. And now Oshie back to the line for Pietrangelo. And his shot blocked by Upshall. Then it caroms to center ice. Fired back in by Oshie, and Luongo.
What was he doing?
Reacted very late, and it was offside anyhow.
Yeah, but you know, just how casually, obviously, he was looking over to his right, and you just can never take that kind of chance. But there's Roberto Luongo, and as we mentioned a little bit on the pregame show, to our left is the future Hall of Famer Marty Brodeur with the team as the senior advisor to Doug Armstrong. And now that he has retired, and Roberto Luongo is your all-time, your active leader in wins. Got a heck of a career, hasn't he?
An active leader in wins, games played in shutouts. As the Panthers to center ice. And now it goes out of play as they have their top line on the ice. Barkov, Huberdeau, and former Blue Brad Boyce.
Well, you know that the Florida Panthers disappointed with the way they played in Minnesota, losing 2-1. And then obviously losing 2-0 in Dallas. And he's without Dmitry Kulikov because of a low bridge hit on Tyler Seguin in that game. And so that's a pretty young defensive core that they have on the blue line. The Blues have got to get on top of that.
And Willie Mitchell is out with an injury. Here's a rebound attempt. Tarasenko, and that was wide on the short side. It may have hit the goalpost as well.
Yeah, maybe just on the outside of the net. You're right. Good quick shot there.
And now Laterra gets away from Jimmy Hayes. And the Blues play dump and chase. And the 35-year-old Brian Campbell, former Cup winner in Chicago. In on the wing, Bjugstad to the net. And a bad save by Elliott. Nick Bjugstad. And now it comes to the far side. Looks like Bjugstad may have taken a stick or a puck up high. Now Ryan Reeves tips it around. And it goes in deep. Blues on the forecheck. Reeves, Gotch, and Ott. And he hit back with a goal. And now Gotch trying to spin away from his man. Hooked ahead by Derek McKenzie, kept in by Butler. Now for Ott, whose dad Butch is on hand here today. And then Pietrangelo rolls it low for Ott. Good reverse hit on McKenzie. And then Ott goes tumbling down, and the puck is lobbed high to center ice.
Good communication behind the net. Reeves knew that Ott was behind him. He left the puck for him.
Now McKenzie comes in, winds and fires it right on goal, and a save as Sean Thornton had moved in for the rebound, but there was none.
No, good play from behind when Ott takes that puck. A little bit of a reverse hit there on McKenzie, and then McKenzie comes the other way on a 2-on-1 break. But he makes sure he fires that puck because Sean Thornton's driving hard to the net. Here's the stick up there is his own player. That's a Bjugstad, who's a terrific young centerman. Jimmy Hayes, his right winger, got the stick up high.
You mentioned that the Panthers lost in their last game Friday in Dallas 2-0. They had a 4-minute power play in the first period and gave up a short-handed goal and lost a lot of momentum, at least potential momentum.
Did they ever?
Now it's Oshie. Winds and fires it. And a glove save there by Luongo.
Easy save there for Roberto Luongo off that long shot. As we take a look at our Toyota keys to the game. And talking to Kirk Muller before the game, he said you got to stick with it for the full 60. He expects certainly Florida to come out extremely hard early on. Hasn't exactly been the case so far.
And you saw the note of the young defense.
Yeah, take advantage of the young defenseman as well.
Here's a tip play by Backes and a save by Luongo. And then Backes is pinned back of the goal by Gudbranson. And now worked along by Steven Kampfer. And it does come to center ice. Kampfer, also Ekblad and Petrovic, 3 young defensemen with a combined 142 NHL games.
Yeah, boy, do they ever miss Willie Mitchell, too. There's no question about that. A good defender, plays his position well, has been a very good influence on guys like Gudbranson and Aaron Ekblad as well. You got Petrovic and Kampfer. You're right, there's not a whole lot of experience there. Good young players, though.
And the puck at the line, it bounces by Jackman. That does come to center ice. And then it goes back in offside.
Yeah, so, I mean, without Dmitry Kulikov, a former first-round draft pick, a real smooth skating defenseman, but Friday night in Dallas, you see, ooh, man, it's hard to look at that. You know that it's a mistimed play. You know it's not a play where he says, boy, I'm just going to take the legs out from under Tyler Seguin, but it's far too low, and it's dangerous. Those are the kind of hits that can end players' careers. It's not your classic hip check where you are going hip to hip. That is low bridging right there, and Kulikov will have, or he's been invited at least, for an in-person hearing, which means likely 5 is the minimum.
And Seguin is on IR. That's a tough blow for the Dallas Stars. Now it is Campbell. Rink-wide feet tipped along by Boyes, who hasn't scored in 9 games and has never scored against the Blues. The only team he has not scored a goal against. And now grabbed by Laterra. On for Schwartz with Tarasenko. And they can't enter the zone. And Ekblad the other way. And ahead for Barkov. And it's dumped in by Ekblad. Oh, Elliott tips it in front. But thankfully for the Blues, it was Jackman back first. And now the Panthers get it in front again. Jokin in a shot. That was blocked. And now Jackman takes cover back of the goal. On for Yashkin, who has scored goals in 2 straight for the first time in his career.
Well, what he did in the last game in Tampa Bay, funneling every single time he had the puck, he didn't hesitate. He threw it at the net, 7 shots on goal. It's one of the things the coaching staff talked to the players about for this game. Keep firing them. Fire them at the feet of Roberto Luongo. Every chance you get, put that puck on net. Don't make it the easy play, though. Putting it on net doesn't mean firing it waist high where a goalie just catches it and it kills the play. Get him around the feet if it's a sharp angle. Create some havoc in front of him.
Now it's dumped in by Pietrangelo. Tip back to the goal by Gotch. Here's Ott. Reverse hit on O'Brien, who was called up from the minors. So taking the spot of Kulikov. And now Reeves trying to hunt it down. He battles against O'Brien, who played last year with the Calgary organization. Now Gotch trying to find it. Petrovic down low for the Panthers, and now it's up the wall for number 82, Thomas Kopecky, and then flipped in by O'Brien. Elliott steers one to Bouwmeester, former Panther. Now Kopecky steals it. Back on the line, Gudbranson. Over for Kampfer. That shot wide. And now back of the goal, tipped along by Gotch. Bouwmeester trying to get it ahead. He does for Reeve, but it stays on the wall there. And now back of the goal. And the Panthers try to make a play. Kopecky turned the wrong way. Now he turns and fires it. Blocked. Another shot on goal. And it's loose and covered by Elliott as Bolland was looking for the rebound.
Smart play by Kopecky on the left side as he just fires that with the little bit of a screen in front of Brian Elliott. He puts it right between the defenseman Bouwmeester's legs. So Elliott's got to get the left pad, as you can see there, left side. The rebound comes back to his right, and now it squirts looser. Bouwmeester just trying to push it back to him. It's like a hot potato down there. But he finally does grab that after a good shift there by Kopecky.
Blues have won 6 of their last 7 games on the road. And are 15-10-2 on the year. Panthers at home 12-8-5. Now it is Oshie back for Jackman, and a shot sails wide. And around to Cole. Here's Steen out of the corner. Finds Cole. And a wrist shot on goal. Rebound. Save on Backus by Luongo. Highway robbery there. And the Panthers flip it out. Here's Oshie. Deals it back to Jackman. Rink wide feed. Oshie takes it off the wall, but he was offside. What a save by Luongo. Backus had a wide open goal, but Luongo robbed him.
Well, smart sequence by the Blues in the offensive zone, and Ian Cole started things off by moving and getting himself in a good spot. He's on the left side, dumping it on the backhand. Keep your eye on Ian Cole. Now he's going to move to the middle, and so there's an open lane there, and obviously the shot, left pad save, and absolute robbery, as you said, John Kelly, right there with the glove. Wow, what a save, reaching to his left for Roberto Luongo.
The Blues coming off a season-high 44 shots in Tampa on Thursday. Nearly only 5 missed shots in that entire game on Thursday.
He was on against an excellent hockey club. But again, you look at the Blues and what makes... Oh,
stolen by Laterra. Schwartz out of midair. Got it from Tarasenko, but he couldn't knock it down. And now the Panthers to center ice. Chipped in by Boyds. He goes after it against Pietrangelo. Now it's grabbed by Upshaw. And bothered there by Laterra. Here's Boyds back of the goal. In front to Huberdeau, and it never got on his blade. And a great pass by Schwartz, and that springs Tarasenko. Now in the wing for Stastny. In front. That was intended for Tarasenko. Blocked, though. And now moved the other way by Huberdeau. And played off the glass by Pietrangelo.
Yeah, he wants to get off on a line change. Being the right D, it's a little longer to go. He had to make sure that went off the glass and out of the zone.
Once again tonight, the Blues have split up Bouwmeester and Pietrangelo. Bouwmeester on here with Gunnarsson. The Blues want more depth on their back end.
Yeah, more balance. So there's not just, one pair of defensemen going up against, let's say, the Barkov, Huberdeau, and Boyes line, or in this case, they're really focusing on the Jokinen, Bukestad, and Jimmy Hayes line. That's been the big line, tough line to contain. They've been awfully good.
Now stolen here by Berglund for Stastny. To the net. Rebound for Yashkin. He jams it. It goes wide. And then Yashkin again. Kept in by Cole. And now Paul Stastny had a goal the other night in Tampa Bay. Panthers step up and fired to center by O'Brien to the Blues line. And then Berglund hooks it back to Jackman. And that goes in toward the goal. Now play to the near side for O'Brien, who was signed as a free agent in the offseason. The well-traveled defenseman. Tipped by Steen. And Luongo goes for a skate. Hammers it back of the goal for Steven Kampfer. Nope. Up in the air. Knocked down by the Blues. Now for Steen. To Oshie. And try to duck under the check of Kampfer. He can't. And then whipped to center by Derek McKenzie, who played for Ken Hitchcock in Columbus. And that's an icing call.
Good defensive play there by Steven Kampfer on TJ Oshie. And meantime, this is that shot and a save there on Backus on the backhander right there in the bottom part of the glove by Roberto Luongo. And you got to love this guy's sense of humor. At Strombone1 is his Twitter account. He put this on there with a piece of cardboard, a huge piece of cardboard, after he gave up a little bit of a softie on the glove side against Anaheim.
Luongo is 8 wins shy of Chris Osgood for 10th all time. Now the Blues to center ice. Gotch can't handle it, and Kopechki does. And a cross-corner dump in, and Butler the first player back for the Blues. To his partner, Pietrangelo. Up the boards, brushed along by Reeves. And now the Panthers play it the other way. Here's Pietrangelo again, knocked down by Fleischmann. He comes in, and a drive, and he missed by a mile. And now bodies go flying in the corner. As Upshaw was entangled with Pietrangelo and Ott. And the puck goes high off the boards. No icing here. As we approach the midway point of the first period. And the Blues break it up. Now Campbell at center ice. And he rifles it right back in. And now Bouwmeester, former first rounder by the Panthers. Back at 0-2, taken 3rd overall. Laterra the drive, blocked. And now tipped to center ice to Huberdeau. 2-on-2 here with Barkov. And Tarasenko gets back. Went for a hit, but Huberdeau knocked him down. Now Boyd back in the cage. Gunnarsson against Huberdeau. And then Gunnarsson again. Now Barkov with it. Former first rounder out of Finland. And Laterra helping out down low. And a good defensive play by Jori Laterra. And the Blues exit the zone. Now for Schwartz, but nowhere to go with it. And Boyd circles back. And lobs one to the corner. Blues expecting a much more physical game than the one we saw on Thursday. Kirk Muller, Blues assistant coach, said this Panther club plays like a West team. Now Stastny comes in a shot, and that's off the leg wide. And then Yashkin leaves it for Stastny. To Berglund, right in front, wraparound attempt, and a good save by Luongo. And it's chipped down the ice. Well, Berglund saw some room in front, and Darren, he was right to the goal and had a great chance there.
This line continues. Their last shift was very good as well. They had a scoring chance from Yashkin, and they continue it on again.
Now Kampfer in the corner for Campbell. And they go the other way, now up the middle. And then flown in from center ice by Bjugstad.
Backes does a good job there of finishing his check. Bjugstad dumped the puck in. There was kind of watching it, admiring it a little bit, and David Backes made sure he ran through him.
Now it's Oshie. Hard pass in front, tipped by a stick, and it caroms down the ice. And Butler in a big hurry. They'll wind it around for Backes. Tips it on to Oshie. Now Backes in for Steen. And that is turned away by Ekblad, and it comes to center and then back in offside. We're in Sunrise, about 15 miles from Fort Lauderdale Beach. Nice day here in South Florida.
Well, the last 25 games, Dmitry Yashkin has actually had the second most hits on the Blues. He's been a physical sort. He's been good in the corners. He's been winning loose puck battles. He takes a hit from Goodbranson there and then gets right back up. It's a big body right there to take a hit from a big, young, strong defenseman in Eric Goodbranson. And he just bounces right up and goes right to the net.
Now the Blues off the face-off. Steen in front for Backes. In traffic, can't get a shot. And then Backes bumps Goodbranson. Loose puck taken by Kampfer. And he puts it off the glass all the way down. That should be an icing call. It is, with 8:15 to go in the first period.
Well, Ken Hitchcock will change things up and get the Tarasenko line on the ice. The shift before that for Vladdy Tarasenko, he ended up taking a pretty good hit there on the far side as he just bounced off of Jonathan Huberdeau.
It is Laterra against Boland. And the former Blackhawk Boland wins it. But now Laterra hops on it. And battles against Boland. Now Goodbranson goes the other way. And steered to center ice by Fleischmann. And a bouncing puck taken by Boland. Panthers want to make a change. And they dump it in. Gunnarsson now for Bouwmeester. Nice pass up the middle. And here comes Schwartz. To Laterra, to Tarasenko, a drive. And a pass saved by Luongo.
Good save with the left pad. Nice give and go by Jori Laterra and Vladdy Tarasenko again. And right in the middle of the ice, too. Boy, it's a dangerous area of the ice. And I know in the old days, that's an area that you're going to get popped somewhere along the way. But this all starts in the neutral zone. Nice pass by Jaden Schwartz. Drops it off. Laterra doesn't even have that puck on his stick for a split second. He moves it right over to Tarasenko, the most dangerous player on the ice. And Vladdy Tarasenko there just rips one low to the glove side.
And Luongo has made some good saves early on.
He sure has.
Now it's Huberdeau. And he is spun around by Stastny. The Blues get back to break it up. And now Berglund. Nice play. And his own line now walked along by Jackman. Tipped in there by Berglund. And it's Campbell. Tips it to the near side. And then Huberdeau had it, couldn't clear it. Now Yashkin funnels it back to Cole. And then for Berglund. He looks around. Berglund thought about passing, now he does for Jackman. And that shot up in the air. Cole takes a swipe, misses. And now Alexander Barkov the other way. For Boys. That shot on the short side and a save by Elliott. Now Boys again in front, but no one is there. Except the Blues, Berglund.
Yeah, that first shot by Brad Boyes was a good one. A sneaky little wrister from a far distance, top of the circles. But with that little bit of traffic, it forced Brian Elliott to really look through that screen. Made a good save.
Now Petrovic comes in. High shot from the wing. Right on by McKenzie. And we get a whistle. BMO Harris Bank wants you to show your sign in support of the Blues. Tweet a picture of you and your sign to hashtag BMO Blues Sign Contest for a chance to win Blues prizes and have it shown on an upcoming broadcast. Visit bmoharris.com/Blues Sign Contest or visit a local branch near you. Shot 7-4 for the Blues. Scotch wins the faceoff from McKenzie. And then played up the boards for Reeves. And that comes to center in a race for it. Ott wins the race. Here he comes with Reeves to the net. Backhander and a great save by Luongo on Reeves, who got behind the defense. And that's about 4 grade A chances for the Blues.
This line has also been contributing here. Made some good plays down low, moving the puck well. Reeves is very frustrated. He goes back to the bench. You can see him here. Just slams his stick in disgust. But that was a heck of a pass there by Ott, and then it was a nice move. It was just a terrific save with the right pad.
If his dad Willard was here, it would have been in.
You know, he's probably thinking because he's a right-hand shot, he had it to the backhand. Everybody knows you can lift the puck easier on the backhand than the forehand from that close.
Rebound attempt to Jokinen, and Elliott got over, and the puck was on the mesh. And now we get a whistle, and a penalty has been called here. It appears it's against the Blues. 5:41 to go, first period. And we're scoreless in South Florida.
Blues and Panthers scoreless late in the first period. Scott Warman with you in our Fox Sports Midwest Live studios inside of Ballpark Village. Coming up on our St. Paul GM Country Intermission Report, Bernie Federko will join us. We'll break down the opening 20 minutes, plus we'll go inside the numbers, and we'll take a look at the highlights of the Hawks and the Penguins earlier today. Back to South Florida, Darren Pang and John Kelly.
Thank you, Scott. Oshie in the box for holding. Panthers get the game's first power play. Huberdeau has it on the half boards. Ekblad a pass. And then Bjugstad fans on it, and that's a break for the Blues, and here they come short-handed. Steen down the boards. Kicks one to the corner. Panthers power play ranked 27th at 15.1%. Here's Huberdeau. In traffic, broken up and wired the other way by Bouwmeester. I mentioned the shorthanded goal they allowed to Dallas the other night. They've allowed 3 shorties in their last 10 games. Now Bjugstad walks in. And around for Jimmy Hayes. And then Barkov is pressured there by Gunnarsson. Hayes with it, lost it, and then walked along by Schwartz and picks an opening. 4:44 to go, first period. Panthers on the power play. Blues beat them earlier this year, 4-2. But it took a late goal by Chris Porter.
And an empty net goal by Stastny, and Marty Brodeur got the win.
Yes, he did. Now Campbell on the half boards for Boyes. In front, quick shot, blocked. Jokinen let it go. I don't think it got through. Now Boyes a one-timer. Didn't get a lot on that one. Blocked by Pietrangelo. Ott diving, can't clear it. And now Bouwmeester. And off the boards, chipped to center. And a race for it, Pietrangelo. And he pokes one to the corner. Boy, the Panthers had a couple of good chances there.
Yeah, the Blues really flirting with those pucks. There are 2 chances to get that puck out, and they did not do so, and gave the Florida Panthers an extra couple of opportunities.
And now it's chopped down by Berglund, and that should just about do it. As Oshie is set to return.
Last 9 games, the Panthers have scored 8 power play goals, but 3 came against Detroit, 3 came against Anaheim, and it clearly let them down in that game in Dallas. Gave up that shorthanded goal that you mentioned earlier.
So the Panthers 0 for 1 today. Here's Cole off the boards and out. And now Gudbranson into the zone for Upshaw. And that shot was off Gunnarsson into the netting. Mardi Gras month continues this Tuesday against Dallas and at every Blues home game in February. Come see local live bands perform. Pre-game intermission and post-game enjoy beer from the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden. and eat Mardi Gras themed food. The gates open 90 minutes before face-off, and the party is free for any Blues fan in attendance. Tickets start at just $29, and all-you-can-eat seats start at $39. Go to stlouisblues.com/Mardi Gras and buy your tickets today.
Right off the face-off, good scoring chance by Fleischmann.
Now Upshall for Bjugstad. In front, can't get it by Cole. And the Blues start the other way. Schwartz trying to split the D. And O'Brien comes over and breaks it up. And they drop it back. That's an ill-advised play. Here's Tarasenko. Now for Schwartz. To the back to Cole. And Cole's drive off Stastny wide. Panthers have a chance to clear it. They don't. Tarasenko. And he had his glove knocked out of his hand and off his hand. And he looks around, but no call. You don't see a guy get slashed too often.
Where the hand comes off.
The glove comes off.
There's no hand. It's just a flesh wound.
Now Sean Thornton wires it back in there. Here's McKenzie back of the goal for Kopetsky. And now Stastny there for the Blues. Ahead for Berglund. And picked up by Bouwmeester. He gets it himself. And he can't make a play down low. And steered the other way by Kopetsky. And then Marcel Goc for the Blues. As they make a change. Now on to Ott. Quickly into the corner. Handled by Campbell. And plays it the other way for Kampfer. Now for Boyes. Pressured by Pietrangelo. Good read there. He comes in to Reeves a drive, and look at it. Flashing glove saved by Luongo on Reeves.
Just gave it and took it away right there. Looked rather nonchalant in doing so as well. And he looks over there and looked like he just said something to Steve Ott as Ott went around the net. Keep your eye on 75 in the white right there. Ryan Reeves going to take this nice little pass by Alex Pietrangelo, and nice little glove save there. Here's the play. That's a slash in any leg right there. That's a pretty good chop at it right there by Fleischmann.
No question about that. Off the face-off, it comes back to Steen. Steen for Oshie, the drive, and a save by Luongo, and that goes out of play.
Also twice in this game, Roberto Luongo has robbed Ryan Reeves. One on that little semi-break with the right pad, and then that glove save as well. And that sharp angle one-timer there.
And the Backes line out there again for the Blues. And they win the draw. And a drive by Backes right on, and a save by Luongo.
Good job by Steen driving right hard to the blue paint, because it was clear that Roberto Luongo didn't have full control of that puck. So Steen's going to go right there and see if he can't bang one home. Little garbage goal there in front of the goaltender Luongo, but Luongo did find it between his legs. Here's a face-off win there. And it was actually, Fleischmann had it for a split second, but David Backes was strong on him and ended up getting it back. Maybe that's what surprised Roberto Luongo. He thought Fleischmann was going the other way, and quickly Backes changes everything.
Now it's Steen against Boland. And Boland gets it for Kampfer. Rolls around, kept in by Butler. And where is it? It's up in the air now to center ice. There are the Blues. Again, it's hammered in by Backes. Luongo almost missed that one. And now Gulbranson with it. Long stretch pass for Fleischmann. Working on Butler. And then Pietrangelo. Oh, Upshaw goes heavily into the boards. He's okay, and the Blues the other way. And now Schwartz in for Oshie. He delays, and a drive by Pietrangelo right on goal, and a save by Luongo. And the Panthers get it out. And now Cole chips it in there. Laterra against Kampfer. And it comes to the corner now for Boyes. Shoots it high, and that bounces down to Jackman. And then Cole up the near wing, tipped along by Schwartz. In the final 30 seconds here of the opening period. Picked off at center ice by Schwartz. To Laterra, to Tarasenko. Another great save by Luongo.
Wow.
Has he been good?
He's been terrific. Best player on the ice for sure early in this game.
And now Boyes down the wall. Back of the goal, Jackman against Barkov. And Laterra nudged to the ground by Boyes. And then Laterra on his knees lobs one to the other side. And time's going to run out here in the opening period. And thanks to Luongo's brilliance, we are scoreless.
Boy, Roberto Luongo was the one that weathered the storm. The Blues thought that the Panthers would come out real strong in that first. That wasn't the case. The Blues had some glorious scoring chances against Luongo.
Shots were 13-7 for the Blues. No score after one. Well, my partner Darren thanked his yacht. Holy jumping to the game today here in South Florida. Why not? Down the intercoastal, cruising up near the Everglades. And it is a very nice yacht. It has TVs. It has the center ice package. You watch hockey while you fish and enjoy life.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 108 feet. It's nothing. That's what career 27 game winners usually have in the ocean here.
I wonder what Luongo will get with all his wins.
685 feet. It's going to be huge.
Speaking of him,
My golf ball said holy jumping on it, though.
Nice. All right, Luongo was great in that first period.
Yeah, he was. Very, 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 very good. And the reason why it's a 0-0 game. And here's our BJC Healthcare difference maker. Active ranks, as we mentioned, 847 games, almost 400 wins. And in the first period, there were some quality scoring chances on Roberto Luongo. The first one, right off the hop, a backhander that Bakasinski scores on. And it's stopped by Luongo. A little traffic right there. Ryan Reeves just can't hoist this one up over the pad. Another good save. One-timer from the sharp angle by Oshie. Quick shot right there. And at the very end, that was Tarasenko in the waning seconds of the period on a very tricky shot. I think you're going to have to go higher than down along the ice on Roberto Luongo here. Test him around the ears a little bit more.
Blues hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. David Backes won all 6 faceoffs in the first period and is now 7 for 7 on the night. As Fleischmann wiggles down the boards, trying to get to the middle, and is cut off by Oshie. Now Bolin to drive off the ankle of Pietrangelo, and now steered to the corner, and then back of the goal for Bolin, in front, and knocked away by Pietrangelo. And here's Steen on to Backes. For Oshie, off the boards and in, and Gudbranson gets back to break that up. Now for Steven Kampfer. And play to the right wing side for Gudbranson. Blues making a change here. 45 seconds into the second period. Now Gudbranson, another high pick by these Panthers. It goes down the ice, no icing. And Bouwmeester quickly to center ice to Schwartz.
Yeah, Gudbranson, third pick overall in his draft here. Ekblad, the first pick. Kulikov that's not playing, the 14th pick. They've had some high picks, boy. Bjugstad, 19th overall. Barkov, 2nd overall. Huberdeau, 3rd overall.
Obviously, Ekblad.
Ekblad, 1. Go back in the history. You said Bouwmeester, another defenseman, he went 3rd. Ed Jovanovski went 1st back in his draft.
That pass intended for Laterra. That goes all the way down the ice. And we get the icing call. Next Sunday, the best drivers in the world will push themselves and their cars to the limits in the 57th running of the Great American Race. Be there as NASCAR drops the flag on another season and kicks the Legends' last ride as Jeff Gordon begins his final year behind the wheel. The Daytona 500 next Sunday at 11 a.m. only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And here's Ekblad, number 5. That pass picked off. Now another shot, and that goes high off a Blues stick and out of play.
Yeah, there's Aaron Ekblad, who scored a goal against Marty Brodeur in that game earlier in the year that the Blues won 4-2 with the empty netter. And Ekblad is total on-ice average 22 minutes as a kid that's 18 and 19. Their color analyst here is the Hall of Famer Denny Potvin, and boy, does he marvel at the defensive positioning and the calmness and the intelligence positionally to be able to defend at this level.
Now it's Hayes a shot. That goes wide. Only one defenseman taken first overall has won the Calder, and that would be Potvin.
Yep.
Look out here. Hayes in front. Can't get a shot on goal. And it's cleaned up by Jackman.
He's a former Auto 67, so why wouldn't he?
And off the stick of Yashkin. And that goes down the ice. I knew we'd have a reference to that today.
You got to win. You got Denny Potvin there. And I think when you look at Florida, their future does look awfully bright. And it's going to be tough getting in for them, though, JK. And the reason why it's going to be tough, 4 points behind the Boston Bruins, but it's not that. They've got to outright beat them because their ROWs, regulation, and overtime wins, that's the tiebreaker. They're only at 19. Boston's at 26. Tough sledding for sure. But last 4 at home, boy, have they been good. Look at the teams they beat. I mean, Columbus has been playing some good hockey. Los Angeles, Nashville, Anaheim.
And they do have 3 left with Boston, 2 at home. And 16 of their last 29 games will be played here in South Florida. So they do have some things going for them.
Yes, they do. But again, you get into that hoping and wishing that other teams aren't getting in 3-point games. And that's a tough position to be in. But knowing Gerard Gallant, knowing how competitive he is, there will be no going away or fading away from these Florida Panthers. They're trying to establish something that's going to stick with these young players for a long time. And you expected them after that first period, JK, that there'd be a little bit of a is that good enough for us? We're trying to make the playoffs. Is that period good enough for us? Outchanced heavily, not for the goaltender. This is already a 3-0 game in my opinion for the Blues, if not for Luongo in that first period.
Now the Blues in their own zone. Here's Ott off the boards for Reeves, who had a couple of great chances. He'll dump it in. Shane O'Brien back there, now in front again. Got near the goal. And it trickles back for Butler, a shot. And that's blocked by a Panther player, Thornton.
Yeah, that's Sean Thornton, right off the boot it looked like.
And he gets up rather gingerly. And now Butler, look out, Thornton after him, the former Bruin. Butler saw him coming, now they come together again. Thornton twists one back of the goal for Kopecky. Trying to center one. That was denied by Gotch, and now taken by Ott. And then for Butler.
Thornton's hobbling down the runway heading to the Florida Panthers locker room there after blocking that shot. He did come back into the offensive zone and then right to the bench. And he's not on the bench right now.
Now the Panthers to the St. Louis line. Fleischmann. That's punched the other way by Gunnarsson. Now Oshie in front. Here's Steen. And he passes back when he could have turned and shot it on the backhand, but thought about going deeper.
Got it.
And now it's lobbed to center ice. And Gunnarsson for Bouwmeester. On the tape of Steen, and quickly in deep. And Backes in there. And he is shouldered by Gabranson. And now it's walked along by Bolin. Here's Bolin trying to make a play. Throws it back of the goal. Pull there for the Blues quickly. Nice pass to center for Backes. Coming off a 2-point game in Tampa. Now Backes back of the goal. Look out, a big collision there. And it squirts free for Huberdeau. And the Panthers to center ice now for Boyce. He winds and fires it. And a pad save by Elliott. And the Blues steer it around the wall now for Laterra. With Tarasenko. And he can make a play through the middle of the ice. Huberdeau the other way, and he'll chip it into the corner to the left of Elliott. And now played for Pietrangelo. And then for Butler at center ice. Panthers are back, so Butler has to dump it in, but he was on his own side of center. An icing call.
Well, that was awfully close there. I thought that he actually got the red line just barely, but there was no argument from Butler. He would know best. And here's a play by Brad Boyes, a long shot there as he gets it beyond Ian Cole. Ian Cole's been really moving well in this hockey game, making some really good decisions with the puck. Here comes Ryan Reeves on the forecheck on Shane O'Brien, gets the lick in right there, and then he gets the puck right over to Gotch. See the way he went off the skate of Ryan Reeves, and then Marcel Gotch, the left-hander, is right there. Ryan Reeves, fourth there and hits the seat. 190 for the big fella from Winnipeg.
And now it's loose in the far corner. Grabbed by Pietrangelo, and that goes out of play at the Panthers bench.
Yeah, it looked like it hit a glove on the Panthers bench. And if that's... I was going to say, if that's the case, why would that face-off be inside?
Well, if the glove was on the inside of the boards, then it's okay. Now, if the glove is hanging over the boards, it's a different deal. Tough to see what it does
It
hit.
hit the knob of the stick in the bench.
So a bad break for the Blues, but it doesn't matter. It bounces to center ice now for Yashkin. He comes in a drive, and that's high. And a hot carom off the glass.
Nice smart play. They're using the defenseman as a screen, that long reach, and Yashkin showing much more confidence and willingness to shoot that puck.
And the Panthers, O'Brien tips it in back of the goal. Brushed along by Pietrangelo. Kept in by O'Brien. Now Bukestad on the line. Petrovic, a shot, and that hit a leg on the way through. And then Pietrangelo wins a battle in the far boards. Don't clear it, though. Bukestad with it. And then a shot up high and a save there on Hayes by Elliott.
Well, Yashkin there, Trish trying to make one extra move inside his own zone, and he got his pocket picked. And that turnover results in a pretty good scoring chance. He's gone to the backhand, but it gets picked off there by big Jimmy Hayes there with the good stick, and then Bukestad gives it right back to Hayes, and he rifles this one. That was off the right elbow. And here was the chance by Yashkin as he pulls it outside, brings it back in, and it grazed off the defenseman and up off the glass and took a pretty funny bounce there to the left of Luongo.
Now Backes wins another face-off. Steen to center for Oshie. Then he cuts to the slot, drops it to Steen, has a lane to the net, backhander at the goalpost.
Oh, what a
right off
play.
the post. And now Gunnarsson for Oshie. And then Steen back to the Panther goal, knocked away. It was exactly 1 year ago today that Oshie had his shootout heroics in Sochi. And now the puck in front. And taken care of by Fleischmann. And then Gabranson, his shot blocked by Gunnarsson. And he one-hands it back to the goal for Gotch. And then for Oshie. And now Gotch, nice calm play for Gunnarsson, and then off to center ice. As the Blues reloading, and a line change to boot. Now it's tossed in deep by Reeves.
Nice crisp passing to get out of the zone. I like the way the D went D to D there, utilizing the length of the width of the ice.
Now Ott for Gotch. On the backhand, steers it to the corner for Reeves. And look out, he is hit by McKenzie. McKenzie got the worst of that. And now McKenzie, the former Blue Jacket player, sends a bouncer down. Pietrangelo beats Thornton to it. Nice pass for Ott. And then Pietrangelo joins the party. Then he goes wide to make a play. And lost it to Campbell. And the Blues back off to center ice. 7:15 gone here in the second. As the 19-year-old Ekblad cruises in.
A defenseman passing to a defenseman, leading the attack on the left side.
Now a long stretch pass. Tarasenko behind the defense. Trying to cut in. He does. And a shot and a save by Luongo. As Tarasenko tried to go 5-hole there, and Luongo had the answer.
Alexander Steen had a goal and 2 assists, 3 points there in Tampa Bay, and one of the 3 stars there is he hit the pipe on the backhander. Vladimir Tarasenko has a good scoring chance. He's got 29. Here's the play on the left side of your screen is Steen. He gets that kind of underneath Backes. As Backes jumps up, it goes off the bar. Here's Vladimir Tarasenko. Doing a little poaching way up high, and gets that bank pass right there. A dangerous little change of direction shot through the legs of the defenseman, trying to go through the legs of Luongo, but Luongo kind of gave that 5-hole with a wide stance and then quickly went down into the butterfly.
And now Laterra on the face-off against Barkov. It's Finn against Finn. Blues get it back. Tarasenko, the shot up high, way high off the glass. And Boys clears to center ice.
That was a well-executed offensive zone face-off to create a good scoring chance.
Now Gunnarsson up the boards for Laterra. Off the boards to a streaking Schwartz. He goes wide, now pulls up. And Schwartz in front to Laterra. And his pass across. Bouwmeester was there, but it was blocked at the last second by Petrovic. Now the Blues, here they come again. Tarasenko. And a shot, fanned on. And Barkov the other way now for Boys. But no room there for the former Blue. Tipped by Bergman, now for Laterra. And Shane O'Brien back, lost it. Center, here's Bergman. Can't get a shot. Yashkin comes in, but he overskates it.
Well, he was hooked by the hand. Huberdeau got away with a little bit of a tug right there on the hands, and that's why Yashkin, I think, misplayed it.
The Blues have not had a power play tonight. The Panthers have had one. Now blocked at center by Stastny. Yashkin in a foot race, but Campbell, who's got great speed, beat him to the puck.
Yashkin with that long stride. He's getting to places now. He's showing some increased speed and footwork here.
Here the Blues again. Yashkin, and a backhander, no problem there for Luongo. And now the Panthers get it. And the Strathroy, Ontario native Campbell, the center ice. Shoots it down the ice. And Hayes beats Cole to the hash mark, so no icing here.
Speaking of big guys that can get around, good stride there by Jimmy Hayes.
And Yashkin flips it out. I believe it did glance off the glass.
Yes,
so
I agree with you.
no delay of game.
I agree. Adamantly called by the referee in this game, as Jean Hebert and Kevin Pollock that did the game the last 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago in Tampa Bay. Here's the hounding of the puck. Relentless pursuit of the puck on the forecheck there by Dmitry Yashkin.
And a face-off to the left of Elliott. Panthers get it back. Long wrister by Kampfer. And that's turned away, but it's kept in by Gudbranson. And now Steen deep in his own zone. Works it back on the goal for Pietrangelo. And gets away from the pressure. And handed on to Backes. This pass, not hard enough. Upshaw gets it, but gives it right back to the Blues. And now Pietrangelo to Backes. Great wide feed. Nice passing there. Here comes Oshie. Nice move around Kampfer. And then he's slammed by Gudbranson.
What a hit. That might have stung Oshie.
And he heads off. Here comes Bolin. Now Bolin in front. Gudbranson, a drive, and that just went wide. And now Upshaw gets it for the Panthers. Upshaw shot, saved by Elliott. And we get a whistle. Oshie doubled over on the Blues bench after that big hit.
Well, the Ottawa native that goes 6'5", 216 pounds, big, strong boy, 3rd overall, brings us to our dirt cheap snapshot of the game. It was a year ago. Team USA against Russia. And Oshie put on a show in Sochi against Sergei Bobrovsky, going 4 for 6 in the shootout. But there's the hit right here. Oshie kind of handling the puck behind the net. Didn't expect Gudbranson because he already got by the 1D. And Gudbranson got him up high with a good hit.
He went to the Blues locker room, but now
he's back.
Returns to the bench. And Jonathan Huberdeau twisting and turning on Gunnarsson in this scoreless game. Gunnarsson moves it around the other side. And then jammed back in the Blues goal. Now centered by Boyd, but it goes by everybody. And down the ice. And here's Campbell. He leads the Panthers in ice time over 23 minutes a game. Now for Boys. And off the glass and in. And Jackman up the wall. And then taken by Butler. And under some pressure now to center for Schwartz. Through the middle for Gotch. He gets in. Tough angle. And now Gotch protects the puck very well. And just leaves it down low. And then grabbed by Ott. On the cycle for Reeves. Here's Reeves trying to make a play down low. Back for Butler. In the slot, Ott, a shot, and that's blocked by a Panther. And then Gotch again. Off the boards to himself, Ekblad there. Comes ahead, but there's Ott in the right position. Now for Pietrangelo. Wrist shot up high and a save by Luongo. And that may have also hit Gotch up high.
What an excellent shift that is. Excellent shift. Terrific positioning. The work down low. When you look at Marcel Gotch and that acquisition for Max Lapierre, he's a guy that knows that two others, Ott and Reeves, can play with reckless abandon. And you need that one guy to be in that reliable position at all times here. But good puck movement there as Reeves sees Pietrangelo. And you can see that Gotch just gets out of the way right there and trying to get the stick on it. Marcel Gotch has been a really, really nice fit here with the St. Louis Blues. Very quiet player, very positional player, highly intelligent.
And off the face-off, Tarasenko a drive and a save by Luongo. And a 3-on-2. Sean Thornton broke it up at the line. And now Tarasenko, look out. He gets by a hit in front, and Schwartz. A shot just wide. Now Schwartz again, wide open, shoots. He scores! What a shot by Schwartz! His 20th, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Looked a lot like that little wrister when he scored his first career hat trick in Arizona this year, going high over the glove on Mike Smith. He just gets a nice little feed down low. Jori Lehtera does a great job. Keep your eye on Vlade Tarasenko. Anticipates that play by Thornton, who knows better. He's got to get that puck in deep, but then it leads to the goal from a Mazda drive to the net. Nice pass by Jori Lehtera, and it leaves Jaden Schwartz all alone, and he comes in, might have looked off one time over to Tarasenko. We'll keep our eye on him. He's got his head up the whole way. He's just a high-end hockey player right there. He gets every aspect of it, doesn't he? What a terrific shot there by Jaden Schwartz.
His 20th, and 25 a year ago, a career high. The goal at 11:48. And the Blues strike first. And they look for more. Bouwmeester, a shot just wide. Luongo did not react very quickly. Tipped on goal by Oshie, and a save by Luongo. And now Bouwmeester. Here's Steen in the corner. Hooks it away from Bolin, now for Oshie. He drifts back to the line, now to Bouwmeester. And then tipped in deep again for Alexander Steen. Rolls off the Bolinchek. And then Gunnarsson a drive. Backus tipped it, but it hit a Panther in the leg. And Fleischmann walks it back on his off wing. Steered to the corner by Elliott. And now back to the goal. Look out, it comes in front. But Bouwmeester got there quickly to break it up. And now it's Ekblad. He works in, and a shot and a glove save by Elliott. Saw that one through a maze of players. And we get a whistle.
Well, right after that goal by Jaden Schwartz, Bouwmeester, number 19 on the right-hand side, playing the right side for the first time since spending some time on the right with the Calgary Flames. Obviously spent some time on the right side as a Florida Panther as well.
And our Plaza Tire Service scoring summary. Schwartz from Lehtera and Jackman. And the Blues lead 1-0. Now Butler, long pass to center, tipped by Yashkin. Back in the zone, Campbell. Over to his partner, Ekblad. And that's kept in by the Blues. Campbell goes the other way. Now for Jokinen. Long pass. Here's Hayes after it. Has a man to the net. Hayes now in front. Drops it off, a shot. And a save there, and the Blues clear to center ice.
Terrific position there by Butler. Really did a nice job there buying time on Hayes. Hayes got a long reach. He had showed plenty of patience, but terrific positioning.
And now Hayes again. And it is Ott for Pietrangelo. Under some duress there from Kopetsky. Blues work to center ice. And then filtered in by Ott. Carried around by O'Brien. That's kept in by Cole.
Gonna be a penalty coming up.
And now O'Brien again. It's against the Blues.
Yeah, it's against
Ryan.
Ryan.
They have a fight. Reeves.
It's against Ryan Reeves. Ryan Reeves going to get the original penalty for a hit, whether it's behind or not. I'm not quite certain. And then Thornton comes in there and wants to scrap Reeves.
And Reeves a wild right on Thornton. Thornton's a good fighter. Reeves a couple of overhand rights. And now Thornton's lid comes off. And now Thornton does land a couple of body shots. And now the linesman intercedes.
Good scrap right there. Thornton comes in here. He very well could get the instigator on this play.
And nullify the power play.
Oh, it was a power play for Florida. They're down 1-0. He didn't like the hit. I didn't have a problem with the hit here, though. It's side by side. He leans into him. I didn't even think that was a penalty. And, you know, Thornton comes right in, and Ryan Reeves knows the drill at that particular point, but I'm going to be really interested to see what this call is going to be. I mean, the only reason why Thornton goes in to instigate that fight, Ryan Reeves didn't start in that fight. Ryan Reeves just hits a guy. And John Thornton wants to take exception, so he goes politely over, gives him a tap, and says, let's go. I thought at one point that Ryan Reeves really had the upper hand and was going to put the veteran Thornton in a little bit of trouble, but give Sean Thornton a lot of credit. A smaller battler that he is, he was able to manage that fight and equalize it at the end, but Ryan Reeves got a couple of pretty big ones in there midway through. Well, judging by the look on Gerard Gallant's face, They should get the extra 2. Yep.
So it looks like each club will get 7 minutes in penalties here. So the Panthers would have had a power play after the interference. That's why he got the penalty, Darren.
Interference.
Petske had not touched the puck when he hit him into the boards. So we will remain at full strength. Blues have won their last 5 games against the Panthers and have scored 21 goals in those 5 wins.
Here's a hit again. So they're calling it just a late hit on the interference. And I'm sure by that point, Reeves is just looking at the player, looking to hit him, and it jumps over his stick.
Well, they will send the players to the locker rooms with 6:02 to go. So, and now Reeves will follow suit.
Fourth line's done a really nice job here. They're gonna miss Ryan Reeves in that 4-line rotation. Blues had a real good couple of days off here during this break, obviously beneficial, and a little bit of a rookie dinner as well. A good time for a little camaraderie at this point of the season.
And the Blues win a face-off. Here is a pass in the slot, broken up by Boys. Huberdeau streaks up the middle for the Panthers. He comes in. Huberdeau the shot, and a blocker saved by Elliott. Another chance shot high, and a play by Brad Boys. Great chance on the rebound, and Boys missed everything. Schwartz has the only goal so far.
Blues up 1-0 late in the second period. Scott Warman with you from our Fox Sports Midwest Live's studios inside of Ballpark Village. Coming up on our Jack in the Box intermission report, we'll give you the highlights of the opening 40 minutes. Bernie Federko will break down Jaden Schwartz's goal, and we'll show you some big saves as we head back to South Florida. Rejoin John Kelly and Darren Pang. Guys?
Got shots 21-15 for the Blues, who lead 1-0. And the Backus line back on for the Blues against Bolin, Upshaw, and Fleischman. And Elliott puts it on the glass. Bolin missed it, so did Gabranson. And now it's wheeled back in by Gabranson, and it goes out of play. And there's our good friend in the white coat, Scott McKegg of the Blues ownership group. And to his right is longtime Blues fan Butch Bernard, who lives in South Florida. So sure they're enjoying the game tonight. Scott and Butch.
You think so? Huh? Big hockey fans, great people. First time I went golfing at the 14 Fund when I first came to St. Louis, I was paired up with Scott. He's a fisherman. He brings the rod with him on the golf course, throws it out there, catches a little bass. He's a good man, isn't he?
And I'm sure your team was in contention because you're a great golfer.
No, but
and I'm sure you honed your game over the last few days here in South Florida.
Well, a little bit. I mean, really had a chance to get out there with Marty Brodeur and former Florida Panther Ray Shepard as well. Played a few rounds of golf at beautiful Pine Tree Golf Club.
Now Barkov comes in, a shot blocked by Gunnarsson. And then Backus up the wall. Here's Steen trying to clear it. Backus follows up. Kept in. Now Boys with it. And his shot, and a save by Elliott. And it goes off his stick and out of play. Well, there is still time to get your stretch run packs. Packs start with as few as 7 games and for as low as $26 per game. You can also get packs for every remaining home game for as low as $26 per game. You'll also guarantee yourself playoff purchasing priority for this year's playoffs. Call 314-622-BLUE or order online at stlouisblues.com/stretchrun. Now the Panthers off the faceoff. Petrovic at the line. Hammered by Yashkin. And flipped out by Yashkin. And O'Brien back first. Long pass to center ice. Tipped in, no icing here. With 4 minutes left in the second period.
Keep your eye on Boyes. He's had a couple of chances here. One he put over the bar and actually out of play. And that last play just in front, a good chance on Elliott.
Now it's Stastny. Nice play through a seam for Berglund. And he spins around. Hard pass back for Jackman. Wrist shot. Tipped in front. It never got on goal. And now taken by O'Brien.
That was Jaskin, John. He was kind of going one way and dragged his stick the long way and got a good redirection there.
And now it is Bukestad. Out of Minnesota. Former first rounder. Bukestad trying to protect the puck. On the circle for Jokinen. Jokinen a pass. Hit Pietrangelo in the back of the legs. And now walked along by Yashkin. Then thrown in from center ice. Who's making a change here? Now Campbell to Bukestad. Almost picked off at center. And then brought in offside by Tarasenko.
Now this line has the only goal of the game so far off the twig of Jaden Schwartz. That one just barely offside. Here's a isolated look at Yashkin. He's trying to get inside position there. Now watch his stick there. Kind of good hand-eye coordination. Able to drag that stick in behind him and actually did get a piece of that hard shot from Barrett Jackman. But as you said, it didn't have any momentum after that to get on net.
By the way, on that Blues goal, Tarasenko, not Jackman, gets the second assist.
Yeah.
As we suspected. So it's Schwartz from Laterra and Tarasenko. The only scoring tonight. Now Campbell. Nice move at the line. Lobs one to the corner. Jackman back along with Tarasenko. And now Tarasenko gets it from Schwartz to Laterra. Fired in on goal. Steered to the corner by Luongo. Now kept in by the Blues and Cole. And his shot out of midair. A bouncing shot. Schwartz chopped the puck, but he missed it. And now Ekblad up the wing. And the Panthers to center ice. And Bukestad going wide. And a shot. And a save and a rebound. Chopped wide by Hayes. And Jimmy Hayes to the corner. Cole up the wall now for Schwartz. And he gets it out. And it trickles back in the zone. Hayes as we have, oh, look out, a giveaway there. Bolin wide open, a shot. And a save there by Elliott after a huge giveaway by the Blues.
Boy, Cole had so many opportunities there. Use the boards and make the safe play, not through the middle of the ice. Ian Cole's played a real strong hockey game here. He's made good decisions with the puck. And he gets bailed out, though, and that's why you've got a goaltender. And so you got options here around the net. You don't go where he went to. I mean, that's quarterback throwing to a receiver, and there's somebody right there. That's an interception. Bolin tries to go high to the glove side there, and you can see fighting through traffic. Upshaw's there, and that's an excellent save there by Brian Elliott. Elliott sees that play developing. He moves from his right post. He pushes out. He's on top of his crease, and he takes that option away from Bolin, a right-hand shot. Trying to beat him up high over the glove. Scotty Upshaw was right there on the doorstep as well.
What a save by Elliott.
Yep.
Now Kampfer at the line for Fleischmann. Harassed there by Bouwmeester. And then Bolin trying to get the puck to the front. Panthers play it back. Kampfer to Gudbranson in the slot. And that's blocked by the Blues. Oshie now for Steen. Trying to cut up the middle off his stick. And then Oshie into the corner. Can't hold it in there. 3-on-2, now 4-on-2. Bolin drops it off. He gets it back, and it's off his skate on a 4-on-2. And now the Panthers on the cycle.
Yeah, because Gudbranson had jumped up the ice as well. A lot of options there.
Now Bolin back of the goal. In front, good stick there by Elliott to break it up. And now Backes placed it high to center. Knocked down by Oshie, moved along by Backes. He goes wide. Now to the net. Right in front, a shot. And the rebound back of the goal for Steen. Nice pass to Pietrangelo. In for Butler. He waits. And waits too long and then was chopped down by Gudbranson. And now Derek McKenzie to center ice. For Kampfer. Trying to slide it through the legs of Pietrangelo. And then Kopechki on the boards. In front. Blues break it up, and Butler with 40 seconds left in the period. Now in for Gotch. And a shot. And that drifts high. Puck, I believe, was rolling on Gotch.
Yeah.
Now Ott at the line. Kept in by Gotch. Good read for Schwartz. Remember, Reeves is gone to the locker room after picking up 7 minutes in penalties. And a hit by Ott at the line. Now the Panthers dump it deep. Elliott thought about going out of the goal. Now leaves it for Carl Gunnarsson.
Yes, too close to the line of the trapezoid, and you play it there, you're going to get a minor penalty.
Here's Stastny late in the period. A shot. Big rebound. Coughed up by Luongo. And that'll do it.
Good shot there by Stastny, using some speed and that little wrister trying to beat Roberto Luongo high over the blocker's side. Elliott made some good saves to keep this a 1-0 game after 40.
Shots in that period, 11-11. The only goal by Schwartz is 20th from Lehtera and Tarasenko at 11:48. 1-0 Blues after 2 here in Sunrise, Florida. And a look at BB&T Center in Sunrise, Florida, as the Blues lead 1-0 after 2 periods of play. Along with Darren Pang, John Kelly back in the broadcast booth, we've got an old-fashioned goaltending duel tonight. Panger?
Yeah, we really do. You know, early on in the game, boy, it was all Roberto Luongo. I thought in that period there was a good push there from the Florida Panthers, as you would expect. 4 points behind the Boston Bruins for the final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink here at Brian Elliott, but he was terrific in that second period.
Especially late when the Blues had the puck and gave it up, but he made 3 or 4 timely saves in that period.
Yeah, this is all about positioning there as the Florida Panthers try to fire stuff on the severe angles. As you can see, there's not a lot of opportunity from right in the middle of it, but boy, there still were some great scoring chances, and I thought the line that kind of got things going as well, the Bjugstad and Hayes really picked up their game. Boys had a couple of chances there as well in that second period. There's Jaden Schwartz, who's the goal scorer in this game, and boy, is the Schwartz with us. While in the lineup, 35-10-3. During his injury, 1-5-0. That's valuable. Goals per game, impressive. Power play, impressive. And the penalty kill. We always talk about the offensive side of the puck, but you're going to win championships. You better know how to play defense. You better know how to defend. And certainly Jaden Schwartz is a highly intelligent hockey player.
The Blues are 22-1-2 and leading after 2. The Panthers 2-15-4 and trailing. David Backes has now won all 10 faceoffs in the game.
That means he's 10-0, 100%.
And we get a quick offside here against the Panthers. How did you figure that out so quickly?
Yeah, that's he's perfect today. Perfect on the draws. Big boy from Minnesota. Former captain at old Mankato State. Now it's Minnesota State. You know, it's nice to see. Nice to see Kevin Shattenkirk on this trip. A nice surprise that he came in here spent some time with the boys after having that surgery. Things are going very well, although it's very early, but great to see.
Always great to see Shatty.
Absolutely.
As the Panthers center it. Oh, off the skate of Pietrangelo, right back toward the goal. And Elliott had to be very alert there.
Like Bowen tried to bank that off a leg. I don't think he was meaning for Alex Pietrangelo's leg. Well, maybe he was aiming for Backes' leg there. He's looking, and boy, does he ever rifle that hard. That had to sting Pietrangelo just a little bit.
And now the face-off between Lehtera and Bjugstad. And Lehtera wins it. And grabbed by Carl Gunnarsson. And now for Bouwmeester. And that goes by everybody, and that's an icing call against the Blues. Face-offs almost dead even after 2 periods. So Backes is 10-0, and the Blues as a team are 51%. It's hard to believe.
That is. I have been really watching Jay Bouwmeester and paired alongside Gunnarsson. There's some chemistry there between the two. Real chemistry with Kevin Shattenkirk going down.
Panthers win the face-off here.
You fiddle with a couple of pairings. You try to get something going, but I think they balanced it out quite nicely.
And that's blocked by Bouwmeester. Now Hayes gets it. In front, blocked by Gunnarsson. Good play. And now the Blues away with Tarasenko. 3-on-2. To the net for Schwartz and just off the mark. And then Schwartz centers it, but the Panthers gobble it up, and now on to center ice, Bjugstad. In front, Thornton a drive, on goal, and a save there by Brian Elliott. And the Blues throw it the other way, and that's an icing call.
That's a high-quality scoring chance there. Anytime you cut across the let's call it the middle of the ice surface, middle of the net, and you cross it and you go against the grain, or you're going to create a good scoring chance there. And you can see that he actually is looking one way, and then he fires it low to the stick side, and that's an excellent save right there. Now the St. Louis Blues have just called a timeout here with 18:45 left in the third. Ken Hitchcock not happy.
Well, here's tonight's BMO Harris Bank Twit pick of the game. Nice stuff from Lisa. And to get your picture on an upcoming broadcast, simply tweet a picture of you and your sign to hashtag BMO Blues sign contest.
Nicely done. Way to work, girls. Way to work. Good. A good pen there. A good stylist. Some good artwork. You got to have that to get on the program. It's an award-winning program with an award-winning play-by-play guy. Emmy award-winning.
That's enough.
Many times over.
And a great analyst and a great golfer. All right, that's enough. Timeout for the Blues as Hitch wants to rest his players after that icing call. Barkov will take it against Laterra. And Barkov wins it for Campbell. And now for Boyce. Backdoor feed to Huberdeau. Tip back of the goal by Jackman. Now playing around Campbell, very active in from that left point. But now the Blues with it. And Schwartz to center. And check from behind. And now the Blues make a change on the move. And Aaron Ekblad through the middle. He'll drop one in off the boards. Jackman back. Against Barkov. Ian Cole quickly ahead now for Yashkin, who has scored in 2 straight. Yashkin off the boards to himself. Campbell comes over to help out. Now the Blues get it down low. Stastny into the backhand. Now for Butler. And he lost it, and the puck trickles to center ice. And here's Berglund. No play to make, so he dumps it in. And Campbell leaves it for Shane O'Brien. Again, recalled because of Kulikov's looming suspension. As the Blues have it in their own zone. Now Steen a pass off a skate and all the way down the ice.
That was a hard pass right off the toes of Kopechki's boots right there.
Now Derek McKenzie off the boards to Kopechki, and a shot. Rebound all off the leg. What McKenzie and just wide.
What a snapshot there by Kopechki.
Now a backhander by Kopechki just wide. And now back of the goal, McKenzie, who nearly tied the game. To the line, that's broken up by Oshie.
Nice defensive play there. Really smart play there by Oshie.
And then played back in by Gabranson. 3 minutes into the third period. Blues up by 1. Now Reeves at the line. After serving his 7 minutes in penalties. And Gabranson a pass. This will not be icing. Oh, Elliott almost gave it away. Now he does. To Fleischmann, but he can't center it. And the puck comes around the boards. And here's Reeves. Cancels his man. At the line of drive. On goal, a save. And Bolin jams away at the rebound. And we get a whistle.
And because Jackman was on the other side, he couldn't get towards Bolin, who's had plenty of time to poke around at that loose puck. There's no way Elliott can reach down there to cover it up, because when you do that, you open yourself up, so you're just trying as hard as you can, keep those pads firm, and that was the first save there on Kopechki, and Elliott's going to play, oh boy, he's trying to play it over there to Gunnarsson, and he plays it too hard over to one side, and Fleischmann picks that one off, and here's that puck's, it's underneath, whistle hadn't gone, so Bolin's able to do that, and then obviously Jackman takes exception.
Quite a push by the Panthers here in the third period. And they win the faceoff for Ekblad. And the 19-year-old can't get it by Bouwmeester. Now back of the goal, Tarasenko. Good work deep in his own zone. It comes to Jokin in a shot, and a glove save by Elliott. And he slows it down, and we get a whistle.
Yeah, since Ken Hitchcock called that timeout, though, the Florida Panthers have continued their push here. A couple of good set plays on the offensive zone faceoffs, and here down low, Bukestad and Hayes, boy, they cover a lot of ground too. Big bodies, not afraid to get in the trenches.
And now Backus wins another face-off. Around for Schwartz, tips it. No icing here.
Yeah, because Gudbranson had the pinch there on Schwartz.
Now Kampfer, deep in his own zone. He is run into by Backus. It comes in front, and it's covered by the left mitt of Luongo. Only 2 more Fat Blues days remain. This Tuesday against Dallas and the 24th against Montreal. Local bands will perform pre-game and throughout the game. Special Mardi Gras themed menus, prize giveaways for sharing your fun, and it's free to all fans in attendance. Game tickets start at $29, and all-you-can-eat seats start at $39. Buy your tickets at stlouisblues.com/Mardi Gras.
No Alexander Steen on the ice here, and nor is he on the bench at this particular time.
Yashkin is on here with Laterra and Tarasenko.
That's why Schwartz was up there with Backus and Oshie on that last shift.
Now the Panthers to center. Moved in by Kampfer, a shot. And Elliott a blocker save. So I have no idea what happened to Steen, if anything. But I do see Ray Burley on the bench, so that could mean it's more equipment related, but that would just be a guess.
Yep, mere speculation at this point. As you see the last 5 games against the Panthers for Ken Hitchcock, who passed the great Dick Irvin with that win in Tampa Bay. In wins all time.
Now Huberdeau after it for the Panthers. Roughed up by Pietrangelo. And then Backus. Nice hit on Barkov. And now it goes back to the far side. Panthers defense very active here in the 3rd period. They're pinching at every opportunity.
Great escapability there shown by Pietrangelo, spinning, looking one way and then spinning the opposite direction to get out of the forechest of the Panthers.
Now it's Oshie in deep against Kampfer. Oshie gets it back. Butler a shot, and that goes wide. As Schwartz tried to tip it. And the Panthers get it out. Now the Blues, Backus. Here's Oshie. He cuts in, lobs one to Pietrangelo behind the defense, but it was too high. And then Schwartz off the wall. He has scored the only goal, a shot, tipped. Oshie after the rebound, and the Panthers get it and fire it back to center ice.
That was very good defending there by young Steven Kampfer, the original draft pick of the Ducks. He did a nice job in front. Wasn't worried about the puck, just tied up the stick.
It was recalled about 10 days ago from San Antonio was Kampfer. Thornton rolls it in. Now Gunnarsson chops it up on the dasher. And it comes down, and Tarasenko moves it on to center ice. And now for Stastny. Just banks it in deep. And Kopetsky with a couple of Blues around him. Around now for McKenzie. And then to Ekblad. Ekblad pulls up. And a shot is off a stick into the glove of Elliott.
A good play there by Brian Elliott. Just calm things down at this particular point, especially with Steen not available at this particular point. So with that little bit of shuffling, the players on the bench now for the St. Louis Blues, you've got to be so alert and so aware. Because, you know, you listen more to the coach when there's a little bit of juggling of the lines, either because of an injury or a poor play or just to spark something.
And now Gotch wins a big faceoff. Blues lob it right up the middle. And it bounces down for O'Brien. And then the Panthers dump it in. No icing. As Fleischmann got there ahead of Jackman. But Jackman, nice job to play one on for Ott. And off the boards and out. And Reeves pressuring O'Brien. And O'Brien off the boards to center. Here's Ott to steer it right back in. Darren, the Panthers defense so active. We'll see if the Blues can catch them on some odd man rushes here. Now Petrovic with it. And it comes around for Upshaw. And he is bodied off the puck by Gunnarsson. And then Oshie back of the goal for Bouwmeester. And with some time. Now Backus. Great pass to Oshie. One man back. Here he comes, a drive. On goal. Rebound out of midair. What a play by Oshie. And 2 good saves there by Luongo.
Well, TJ Oshie had an excellent scoring chance there. The right wing positions filled up there by Hayes, number 12 on the left side. He thinks he's got it, but Oshie comes in front of him. That's just a smart play by TJ Oshie, and he creates two quality scoring chances.
And the last one right out of midair. After a hard pass by Backes, right on the tape of Oshie. The only goal tonight by Schwartz, midway through the second period. Now Bouwmeester for Schwartz. And that comes around the wall. And tipped to center by Bjugstad.
Smart play, punched that to himself.
And then Tarasenko gets back to break it up. And that's a big reason why Tarasenko is second in the league in plus-minus at plus 26. And Schwartz at center ice. No play to make, so he dumps it in deep. And goes off on a line change. Steve, by the way, is back. And we would suspect it was equipment related. Now Barkov to the corner. Here's Hayes back to the goal to Barkov. He battles against Gunnarsson.
And it's very simple analytics. He's on the ice for more scoring chances at even strength than he's been against. It's very simple. And he capitalizes at even strength. His value is not just as a power play specialist or a guy that hovers around in the offensive zone only. You're right. That is a good example of the way he came back and how he came back in his own zone.
Now, boys, lots of time in front off the leg of Huberdeau. And then it is Steen back of the Blues goal. Under some pressure there. Nice play around for Oshie. And the Blues have numbers to center ice. In for Backes. He waits, and a shot. And a pad save by Luongo.
Yeah, from that side, it's easy for the goaltender to push that back to the right because of your stick angle is what causes that rebound to go to the side. You're hoping to put that rebound right out in front.
Now it comes in front, and a save there by Elliott with Huberdeau involved.
Good pushback right here.
Along with Cole and Backes.
McKenzie's trying to grab Cole. And, well, McKenzie wants Cole. Right now, Cole gave him a real good shove. I saw McKenzie kind of bend down, kind of holding his mouth, and now McKenzie's going to grab TJ Oshie. This is where Cole has got to grab him stronger. Don't let McKenzie grab Oshie. Ian Cole's a big, strong boy. Had a fight recently there with Eric Nystrom of the Nashville Predators, and boy, here's the play here. As I said, you're trying to shoot it off the pad to create a scoring rebound, a second opportunity, but the stick deflects it over there, and here we'll see where McKenzie is right here. Little push there. You see a little push by Cole. Stick comes up.
28, Florida 17, 2 minutes each for roughing.
So they're both just going to go out.
And we'll go 4-on-4 for the first time tonight.
And you mentioned it before, at 5-on-5, you saw the young D of the Florida Panthers getting a little bit more active. They're playing the clock. I mean, it's still a 1-0 game. Florida's going to still, try not to obviously put themselves in a position where they're giving them odd man breaks. But if you're going to be aggressive along the boards, and if you're a winger for the Blues, you chip it by them, and then you got some support.
So 4-on-4. These Panthers a desperate team after tonight. They go on the road for 5 in a row. Blues come home for Dallas on Tuesday. Now it's Pietrangelo with each team a man short, and that's offside. Well, tonight on Fox Sports Live, they've got all the news from the world of sports, including highlights of a full day of the NBA and NHL. Fox Sports Live is tonight on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And off the faceoff, Schwartz goes to the net, in on goal, and a save by Luongo.
Tried to take that backhand forehand and catch Luongo by surprise. He just couldn't get it up high enough.
And chopped out of there by Ekblad. Now Butler for Schwartz. And then Pietrangelo darts in. Shoots it by Campbell. To the corner against Ekblad. And now it goes for Campbell, who's a fantastic skater. You got to skate if you're going to play 4-on-4. Now Campbell to center ice. Head fake around Tarasenko. Pass in front. And now Bjugstad with it. For Ekblad. He walks in. And a shot and a save by Elliott. As Ekblad had all kinds of time. Panthers back on the goal. Wrap around by Bjugstad and a save there by Elliott. And Tarasenko up the boards. And his pass across. And it bounces to Pietrangelo.
Pietrangelo's got to get a change there. That's a long shift for Alex Pietrangelo.
Past the midway point of the third period. 35 to go in the matching minors. Panthers come in. Huberdeau with it. Rink-wide feed. And a pass down low by Barkov, tipped away. And now Barkov again. To Huberdeau. Give and go in front. Barkov. And a save by Elliott. A penalty coming up here in the Blues.
Both referees had their hands up at the same time. Cutback play. Tricky little play right there. Huberdeau's got a little shake and bake to him, and he creates a great scoring chance, and the Panthers will go on the power play. Well, Jori Lehtera is coming back in his own zone, and he's trying to eliminate a pretty shifty move here by Huberdeau. Barkov, after Barkov gets the pass from Huberdeau, my mistake, and then the reach in right there defensively probably stopped a little part of that shot anyway with what he did. I mean, otherwise Barkov's got a good chance to get a good wrister in a pretty dangerous part of the ice. Nice pass there by Huberdeau.
So maybe a good penalty to take. Panthers a 4-on-3 here. Ekblad gets it. Now Huberdeau with it. Barkov down low on the goal line. To Ekblad. Has Bukestad on the other side. And a drive right on goal. Rebound! Oh, what a save by Elliott! On the rebound, absolutely robbing Barkov.
Holy jumping, what a save this is. Battles on the first one. Rebound squirts to his left. And then he gets the glove kind of falling forward. First save was a brilliant save, and then right there. And he just snaps it up as he's falling forward. He kind of smothers it. Look at his glove position as he fights through traffic and makes the first save. Huberdeau's right there on the doorstep, and there's Barkov. Thinks he's got the game-tying goal, only to be denied.
Now Ekblad a drive, and another save by Elliott. Now we're 5-on-4. Panthers get it back again. Ekblad, Bukestad, right on, save by Elliott. Read that all the way, made the stick save, cleared by Pietrangelo.
Outstanding effort there by Brian Elliott. Outstanding effort.
1:20 left in the power play. Bukestad gets it back of the goal. And then Jackman against two Panthers. Jackman trying to move it. Puck comes in front. No one is there. And now back for Ekblad. He throws one to the corner. Good read by Jackman. And Jackman off the boards and out. And an Oshie against Ekblad. And a good job by the rookie defender. Huberdeau into the zone now for Bolin. And Bolin going wide on Bouwmeester. Back of the goal, Pietrangelo. And he was checked. Panthers play it back for Campbell. Campbell across the ice. And a drive right on goal by Huberdeau and a save by Elliott. And now Campbell again. Here's Huberdeau in front. To the corner for Bolin. Back to the top. Now along to Bukestad. And a shot. That hits something, maybe Oshie's stick.
I think it might hit. Petrangelo's got a broken stick right now.
Now the Panthers again. Bolin a drive. Right on goal. And a save by Elliott and no rebound.
Bouwmeester takes away the far side. It leaves only the short side. Again, high glove. David Bolin twice in this game. Late in the second period, he tried to beat Brian Elliott high to the glove side. And again, he's going there, and Elliott is right on top of it. I mean, Elliott's patience in this game, patience by meaning, not making moves before that puck is released off the stick of the shooters. He's done a great job of holding his position. That's a sign of a very, very confident goaltender.
Blues have been outshot 17-5 in this period. Well, the Blues don't clear it. And a shot by Kampfer was blocked. 10 to go in the Lehtera minor. Bolin gets it back. Campbell for a drive and another save by Elliott with 2 seconds left in the power play.
Got to be impressed with the way the Florida Panthers are zipping this puck around. I know it's on the power play, but it's a power play that's 27th ranked in the National Hockey League at only 15.1%. And a good quick pass right there by Campbell. I think Steven Kampfer has played a real strong game on the blue line.
Panthers win the faceoff. Blues are back at full strength. Here's Bolin. He looks around. Everybody's covered. Now Kampfer on the line. Kampfer gets it back. Now a wrist shot blocked in front by Backes. And the puck shot high to the Florida line with 7:07 to go in the third. The Blues leading 1-0 on a goal by Schwartz. Panthers come in. Here's Boyes, a shot off the body of Pietrangelo, and it flutters into the glove of Elliott.
Alex Barkov makes a good play through the middle of the ice. He's going to be a good, strong two-way centerman for a long time, and he feeds it over to his left to Brad Boyes, and Boyes is kind of in a one-on-one situation. It looked like the Panthers have it in numbers. There's Barkov in the middle of the ice, feeds his winger, and then you can see here it's, Brister from the outside, and gets blocked easy, and not really a dangerous scoring chance from that far out from Boyes.
And now Stastny wins the face-off to the corner. Back to the goal now for Chris Butler. Up the middle, kept in, and a shot wide by Petrovic. Now the Blues with it. And Yashkin at the line to center, tipped by Stastny, moved in by Pietrangelo. He'll drop it off. Stastny, a wrist shot, hit a stick, comes down, and fired back to center ice. And then Barkov can't handle it, and Butler does for the Blues. And Butler gets it back from Pietrangelo.
Oh, he's going to pass it up to the left, but Yashkin was going for a line change. Smart play by Butler. He can't pass it to Schwartz because Yashkin wasn't quite off the ice, and there would have been too many men on the ice.
Now O'Brien for Petrovic. And down the boards for Kopetsky. And Elliott goes to handle this one. Played around by Bouwmeester. Not out. And Tarasenko back deep in his own zone. Ekblad in from the right point. Now Kopetsky knocks it off the dasher. Ekblad a shot. And that was off a Blues player. And all the way back to center ice. Here are the Panthers again. And Kopetsky. Backhand pass in front. Elliott steers that one to the near side. Now Campbell for Kopetsky. Off a skate taken by Gunnarsson. Up the middle, intended for Reeves. And no icing. Reeves beats Campbell to the dots.
Oh, good stride there. Good effort there by Ryan Reeves to nullify that icing.
And now Ott on the forecheck. He gets one to Reeves. On the cycle for Ott. Gotch is in front. Now to the front for Reeves. Tip. Rebound attempt for Gotch. And he swings that one wide of the goal. And then Bukestad down low. Puck up the boards. Kept in by Jackman to drive. Rebound. Right to Gotch. And he can't pull the trigger. Now Marcel Gotch. Drops one back to the corner. Here's Ott. No play is there now for Oshie as the Blues are making a change on the go here. Oshie hooks one back of the goal for Gotch.
Great job of killing off some time on the clock.
And then finally down low, Bukestad steals it from Ott. And the Panthers to center, knocked down by Gotch. Great shift by him, but he knocked it out of midair. And we get a stoppage. 4:42 to go. Elliott has been under fire in this third period.
Well, for Barrett Jackman, longest tenured St. Louis sports athlete, it's been a terrific run. I know there's plenty left in the tank, too, for Barrett Jackman, but look at the great Bernie Federko, 927 games. Brian Sutter, 779, and tied with him, Barrett Jackman. Brett Hull, 744. Nice to see Brett Hull as well here on this trip.
And the Blues win the faceoff. Dump it in, Backus. This stick was held a bit. And now it's Steen in behind the Panther goal. He gets it free. Now Butler, a high shot, and off the back of the goal. Some fans behind the net thought it was in, but that hit the back of the netting.
Yeah, it did. Right on the outside of it. Good play there by Chris Butler. Another strong game for the St. Louis native, and he tried to fight us higher to the blocker side, and you can see the reaction of the blocker of goaltender Roberto Luongo. Kind of punched at it there, but missed it on that side. There's a little traffic there, and he maybe got the knob of his stick caught up in with his defenseman right there. Turned his blocker hand over a little bit.
Maybe that shot was so hard it actually went through the netting and it ended up on the outside.
Yeah, they were just giving that another check as they always do.
But it didn't.
Did not. Outside. Not even a shot on goal.
Now Steen on the face-off against Bukestad. And the puck lobbed to center Butler for Backus. And then Steen will shoot it back in his own zone. And Butler hooks one back to the far corner for Pietrangelo. On to center ice, tipped down by Steen. With 4 minutes left in the third. The Blues leading by one and a goal by Schwartz back in the second. Now Bukestad to center. And Gabranson off the boards. And then fired in by Hayes. Now Bouwmeester up the near side. Yashkin knocks it down. Not cleared though. Hayes with it. Tips it back to the cage again. Jokinen overskates it. And Yashkin, nice pass to Bouwmeester, and the Blues to center. And dumped in by Berglund. He whacks at Branson. And the puck loose on the near wall, grabbed by Yashkin. Yashkin back of the goal in front. Oh, too hot to handle for Berglund. And it goes all the way down the ice. And Elliott tees it up for Bouwmeester. Tipped along, Laterra. Nice play off the boards. And Yashkin across the red line. And he goes off on a line change.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Campbell didn't pressure him a little bit more right there. Take away the line, force him to dump it in a little bit softer, or maybe force him for an icing call.
Now Campbell ahead. That's blocked. Barkov with it. And some back pressure there to break it up. Tarasenko wheels it around the far side. Ekblad there to hold it in. And now boys against Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo wins that battle. And the Blues to center. And Pietrangelo, no play, so again it goes deep. With 2.5 to play in regulation. We'll watch Luongo in goal. We'll pull him at some point. Now Gunnarsson under some heat in the corner. Nice play to Backes. And now center ice, Steen is away. Campbell is back. And Steen can't get through him. Now in front to Oshie. Twisting and turning a shot. And that goes just wide. Here's Steen back of the goal. As he flies in to get the puck. Steen a pass. As Gotch was cutting in, but it was knocked away by a Panther stick. And now Bolin into the zone. Bolin to Upshaw. And it rolled off his blade.
Yeah, he double clutched on that one there. Changed his mind.
And now back of the goal for Fleischmann. And then Bolin again. Pass in front. Great read by Oshie to break it up. And Oshie to center ice once the red line gets there. And that goes all the way down the ice. 1:40 left in regulation time. And Erik Gudbranson on to center ice. Now in for Jokinen. There goes Luongo off. And a long drive. Blocked by Butler. Empty net here. Schwartz can't get it. And fired down the ice. And that's going to be an icing call against the Blues.
Oh, boy. Tough one to take right there. Time now for our Nissan checks of the game. Tarasenko takes one there from Huberdeau. Thinks he's going to get the better of him. And Brian gets hit there. Gudbranson on that hit where TJ Oshie actually left the ice momentarily. Fight here between Sean Thornton and Ryan Reeves. It's scrap in the second period. Florida's called their timeout now. Kenny Hitchcock had called his 2 minutes into this third period. Now face off to the left of goaltender Brian Elliott. So Bukestad, the big centerman that's a right-hand shot, likely taking this draw. He can pull it over if he wins it to the boards. So the Blues have got 2 scenarios that they're looking at. One's a win, one's a loss on the face-off, obviously, but you can see the domination by Florida here in the third period, out-shooting the Blues 20-6 in a desperate situation, and they've shown great urgency. Boy, Panthers have played a great hockey game.
Yeah, they are a very desperate team. So after the timeout, 6 attackers, and Bukestad will take it against Stastny.
And if Campbell gets it, then look for Campbell to play it to his partner, the right-handed Ekblad, who will move into the middle of the ice.
Watery Blues live is next. Panthers control the faceoff. Here's Bukestad back to Campbell. To Ekblad, a shot. Tip just wide. They score! Tough angle. And Bukestad ties it.
After the Blues did a pretty good job on that face-off, it ends up that the Panthers end up getting it back right here. I thought the Blues were in good spot right here. Pietrangelo gets kind of held a little bit right there behind the net by Barkov. Can't get control of the puck, and as I mentioned, Campbell over to Ekblad. Ekblad goes off the end boards there and has a wicked carom. And from a sharp angle, you can see that he banks that. Is that off of Elliott?
Tough to tell, but the Panthers tie it at 18:47 with the goalie off. Now Bouwmeester around the boards. Here is Steen ahead to Backes. Now in for Oshie. Oshie the drive. That goes wide. And Steen again. And that shot tipped wide. Comes in front. Oshie to Backes. In tight, but they can't get a real good chance. And Fleischman lobs it out. Bjugstad gets it his 20th of the year. And we are tied at 1. And the puck rolls back down the ice, where it's grabbed by Pietrangelo. In the final 30 seconds, now to center. Here's Tarasenko. And Campbell took the man there and made a good play. And back out of the zone. Fired back in by Pietrangelo. And that goes over the glass and out of play.
And this game time goal all stems from a little bit of uncertainty and sloppiness, and it ends up being an icing call by the Blues. An empty net when Luongo is off. You have a chance to get that puck to center ice and at least maybe even fire it into the empty net and win this one in regulation. And instead, it's an icing, timeout by Florida, face-off battle, good setup, and Bjugstad fires it from an impossible angle.
Ekblad and Campbell get the assists. Blues win the face-off. 10 seconds left here. And this comes to center ice. Now Stastny for Pietrangelo. And that sails high and wide. And we will go to overtime here in South Florida.
And McKenzie taking exception to a hit there from Dmitry Yashkin on Aaron Ekblad. And now Kopechki and Stastny at the very end there. Looked like the Blues had 2 full points right in the bag, but the Panthers fought back.
The late goal by Bjugstad. 1-1 after 60 minutes. Overtime records presented by Jim Butler, Chevrolet.com. Blues 10-4. The Panthers 6-11.
Extremely important point for the Florida Panthers in chasing the Boston Bruins for that final spot in the Eastern Conference, and for the St. Louis Blues as well. When it looked like they had two points, boy, Florida just kept pounding away. If not for Brian Elliott, I mean, this third period was an exhibition. Some of the saves he made were unbelievable. Both goaltenders have been phenomenal in this game.
Blues were outshot 21-7 in that third period. Underway in overtime. There's Gunnarsson, now Backus, who is up front with Steen. And Jay Bouwmeester held up a bit. The Blues to center as Backus flies in from the wing, a drive. Saved by Luongo. Can't catch it though. And the Blues get it back to Bouwmeester. And the former Panther off the boards in front, Steen. Oh, he had Gunnarsson down low. That was blocked. And away come the Panthers with Bolin. Here's Bolin a pass. Tipped wide by Kampfer. And now it bounces in front. Settled by Gunnarsson. And away comes Steen. Spins around. Oh, Tarasenko almost stole it from Jokinen. He would have been in the clear. Now Ekblad comes in. Ekblad pulls up. To the net, a shot. And Elliott goes down to make that save.
Good job by Chris Butler in closing that gap on the defenseman Ekblad. Instead of backing in, he cut back to basically the blue line and then started skating backwards right there. So he forces Ekblad to slow down a little bit, and you don't get that shot at the top of the circles with everybody backing in. So there's that play nearly played there by Tarasenko.
Here's Laterra against Jokinen. And Laterra wins the draw. Butler on to center now for Schwartz, who has scored the Blues goal. Now Schwartz at the line. Down low for Pietrangelo. Now to the net. Now back of the goal. Here's Pietrangelo back for Butler. Long wrist shot. That's off the target. And then Campbell ahead to Bjugstad. And the former Minnesota Gopher was stripped of the puck by Pietrangelo. And then moved back in there by Schwartz. Through the slot. Now back for Jackman, a shot, and he wristed that one well wide. And the Panthers with Ekblad up the middle. Dropped off to Jokinen. And Barkov back of the goal. Was slowed up by Cole. And the loose change taken by Jackman. And the Blues out of the zone. And a pass for Cole. And a delayed offside. Now the Blues tag up. Almost 2 minutes gone in overtime. Panthers to center. Here's Barkov in. And a shot. He ripped that one wide. Missed everything.
Boy, he had a big opening there between the two defensemen. Lots of space.
Now Tarasenko gets it from Stastny. Tarasenko through his legs. And a good defensive job by Camper. Now Tarasenko again. Shot, and that may have hit the goalpost.
Caught Luongo by surprise.
Now Stastny to Gunnarsson. And all he can do is chip that one on goal, and a save by Luongo.
Quick little play by Tarasenko right there. First he tries on the right side of the ice, a kind of a back of the blade, kind of reverse toe drag there. And then when he does get control after that, he comes in looking one way. Look how quick that release is. Wow. And there's the scoring chance missed by Alex Barkov. He takes the pass from the middle of the ice, and the two defensemen, Cole and Jackman, got kind of crossed up a little bit, really wide right there, and he was able to go right through the middle.
And now Berglund is up front with Oshie. 2:41 left in OT. Berglund will take it. Against McKenzie, it's dropped unfairly. And they'll put that second back on the clock. 2:41 to go. Blues are home Tuesday against Dallas. And they fight for it. Oshie pushes it wide. And now Kopetsky. And worked ahead for Petrovic. And goes for a skate back in his own zone. Petrovic again. Under some heat there from Berglund. And now a long pass by O'Brien for Kopetsky. And Gunnarsson, nice job to come over to close ranks on him. Now the Panthers with it. Backhander by O'Brien wide. Comes in front. Pinballs around. Taken by the Blues. And here's Berglund away with Oshie. 2-on-1 to Oshie. Following up Bouwmeester. A shot. And he missed everything. Oh, Bouwmeester almost burned his old club.
Oh, trying to go to the stick side and miss the net.
And now Steen on the forecheck.
Good rush up the ice there by Oshie and Berglund.
And Steen gets it. And he comes in. And a shot. He missed the goal as he went short side.
Oh, two glorious scoring chances and neither one on net.
And now Butler with 1:33 to go in overtime. Here's Butler. Center ice, Steen. Chips it to Pietrangelo with Backes. Oh, Pietrangelo tried to go behind the defense and he couldn't. And the Panthers at center, now they lose it. And Steen right back in. And the Panthers shoot it off the glass and down the ice. That's going to be an icing call with 1:11 to go.
Long shift there for Pietrangelo and Alexander Steen. And a couple of good scoring chances. Bouwmeester takes advantage of this one here because it drops behind there after Oshie went to make a play, and that quick shot wide, and Steen here tries to go high to the blocker's side. You see there was some opening right there, but he just missed that.
Schwartz up front with Tarasenko. Panthers win the faceoff. And Dave Bolland away for Florida. Chris crosses with Fleischmann. Can't get a shot through. And Gunnarsson back of the goal. Now Bolland falls down. And here are the Blues to center ice. Schwartz for Tarasenko. All he can do is get the puck to the corner. Around Ekblad. Now back of the net. Campbell comes over to break it up. And Florida with it. Jokinen at his own line. In for Campbell. Try to chip one to the slot. Broken up by Schwartz. Not cleared. Ekblad. A shot. And actually blocked. Now Bukestad with it. And he comes in. A drive. Blocked by Butler. Jokinen turns. And he can't get a shot. And the Blues get it back with 22 seconds left. And here's Butler as the teams make changes. And around it goes to Stastny. He looks around. Everybody's covered. For Pietrangelo. He's loose back of the goal. Hard pass to Oshie. And a shot blocked in front. Now Stastny. Long shot again. And we will go to a shootout. And Jim Butler Chevrolet.com presents the shootout. And the Blues have been real good this year. They're 6-2 in the shootouts, and Brian Elliott has faced 121 in his career, allowed 41. Roberto Luongo a bit better as he has stopped 68% of the attempts against him.
Been a terrific performance. Roberto Luongo weathered the storm early on for his teammates because the Blues had the better of the scoring chances. The St. Louis Blues will shoot first on Roberto Luongo. And then obviously midway through the second period and in the third period, it was all pressure on Brian Elliott. So on the anniversary, on the night that he went 4 for 6 against Sergei Bobrovsky in Russia, TJ Oshie gets the nod to begin this one.
So the Panthers elect to shoot second. And Mr. Shootout, TJ Oshie against Luongo. Here he comes. And off the crossbar.
Last time that he had a shootout opportunity on Roberto Luongo, he went right between the legs. You remember that reaction? Luongo never even moved when that goal happened. And Luongo tweeted after the Olympics when Oshie went 4 for 6, and he said a tweet out that said, I know how they feel.
Nick Bjugstad quickly in. And a great save there by Elliott.
What a reaction. He saw that right off the blade, and when Bjugstad took that back to the forehand, he's going high to the glove side. Good position there, low crouch by Brian Elliott. And his glove's in a perfect spot, smothering that shot.
Tarasenko 2 for 7 on the year. He's the Blues' second shooter. He moves in and he scores off the goalpost with a rocket.
What a shot. That's old school wrister right there. He has scored a lot of goals low to the stick side, but here he waits, plenty of patience, waiting for the goaltender to make that first move. Oh my goodness, what a shot that is.
And there's our good buddy Brad Boyce, 20% on the year. The Panthers' second shooter, Boyce in, and he scores and ties it.
Well, that's a heck of a wicked wrister there. Remember, it was Boyce and Oshie all the time going 1-2, both talking to each other what they saw from the goaltender. Here, he knows exactly what he's doing. He rolls that puck from the heel of his blade to the toe and just makes a beautiful shot.
And Alexander Steen, so we're 1-1 as we go to the third round. Here's Steen in, and a shot and a save by Luongo.
Kind of a leaning kind of save there by Luongo. He's leaning to his right. You can see he kind of puts all his weight over there, and he comes up with an old school style save there.
And now Huberdeau could win it. He's 2 for 9. Elliott must make the stop. Huberdeau in. And a save by Elliott.
You know what? That's one of those disadvantages, too. Without the dry scrape in the middle of the ice, that puck was hobbling and bobbling and rolling. Watch how it jumps up right as he gets to the top of the circles there. Now he doesn't have control of it, and he's never able to settle that puck down.
And Yashkin will shoot for the Blues. In the fourth round, Yashkin, and a save by Luongo. And the Panthers get another chance to win it.
Kevin Shattenkirk would be right around that fourth guy in the pecking order, and there he tries to go a little backhand and a little stutter step moving, and Roberto Luongo just doesn't bite at all on that.
And Jimmy Hayes, Big Walt's cousin, he tries to win it. And a save by Elliott, and it goes over the goal.
Good save, just got enough of it on the cuff of the glove.
On to round 5.
See big Jimmy Hayes here, he's looking, he rolls it and kind of gave it away right there. Didn't disguise it well enough for the goaltender to be fooled at all or lean one way.
To the 5th round. Laterra's first ever shootout. In quickly, Laterra, and he scores! What a move!
Oh!
Through the legs!
Looked like he might go back to the stick side after he cuts back in here, but he pulls it there and knows exactly what he's doing. That is an excellent, calm move there.
So the Blues lead, and Jokinen must score. 2 for 10 on the year. Jokinen in, and off the goalpost. The Blues win it in the shootout.
Full 2 points for the Blues, 1 point for the Florida Panthers. Thanks to that guy, though. Brian Elliott, just a tremendous effort in goal. Back-to-back strong performances. 26 saves in the win at Tampa Bay. And in tonight's game, holy jumping was he good. He's our Bud Light player of the game. 41 shots, including an incredible performance in the third period. And Brian Elliott makes 40 saves.
And Laterra gets their shootout winner as the Blues sweep Florida. A win in Tampa and a win tonight in South Florida.